Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. Over the past few days, some of the most buzzed about movies over the next couple of months have actually released new trailers. So today's episode is mostly going to be comprised of breaking down those trailers. There's 4 of them that I'm going to be talking about, and then one other topic as well. So bear in mind about that. It is all going to be about trailers today. So without any further ado, the first trailer today that was released was for Interstellar. Now, this is the 3rd full-length trailer for the film. Any of you who follow me on Twitter know that I tweeted it and I said, hey, for those of you who want to watch it, it's online. I'm not going to be watching it. Well, I caved. I wanted to see as little of the film as possible. This is a movie where very much like Inception, where you don't know anything about what the film's about, outside of it's about an interstellar travel that requires them to find something that will ultimately save mankind. And they're going to be dealing with time dilation and all that kind of stuff. Outside of that, we knew next to nothing. And I was afraid that this trailer would be like the final trailer for Inception, which would give a lot of the plot points away in the trailer, still not really revealing the overall storyline, but giving away a lot of the plot points. And so that was one thing that I was really afraid of. Well, luckily, that did not happen. While this trailer does have a lot of new footage, and I definitely, for those of you who are Christopher Nolan fans, I definitely recommend checking it out. Some of the shots in this trailer are absolutely breathtaking. And a lot of what this trailer is built up from is stuff that we've already seen, just longer takes of it. Like you get to see, I don't even know what's happening where they're walking along the ice and then the mountains are basically coming down on top of them. That to me is right out of Inception. But then you get to see like this monolithic like robot walking, and it looks like it's just a pair of metallic legs that are just walking, and what that is, I have no idea. We got a very brief glimpse of that in the not the very first trailer, but the second trailer that came out, the one that actually showed parts of the interstellar travel, not something that they had filmed on just the first 4 days. But yeah, I mean, there's so much mystery surrounding this. Like, this movie is just driving me nuts. I can't wait to see it because I know it's a Nolan film, which means there's going to be so much substance and subtext to this film that it's really going to overpower almost anything else that anybody's seen in the last several years. It's going to be so methodical with its thoughts. It's going to be so precise with its ideas. Like, there's so many layers to a Nolan film, and that's why people really do support him. On top of that, he has not had a dud yet. He is striking. This is going to be 8 for 8 if this one is out of the park. I mean, actually, this is going to be his 9th film. This is going to be his 9th film. No, 8th film. 9th film. One of them. Anyway, he has not done a bad film yet. And just overall, it's just absolutely breathtaking and beautiful. And the fact that we now have 3 trailers out for this film and still really don't have a clue as to what's going on, that is impressive. Sony, take note. Follow along what Nolan does with his advertising, because he's going to draw people into the theater without showing them everything, including the last frame of the movie in the trailer. I'll never forget that rhino fight in the trailer. Anyway, I'm digressing. So Interstellar is going to be opening up on November 7th. It actually opens up 2 days earlier on November 5th in select IMAX theaters. As far as I'm aware, the one here will be open, or will be showing, because it is in the list that you can find online of where it's playing for Interstellar. But I am so looking forward to this movie. It's going to be one of the smartest, most intellectual movies I think we've seen in a long time. And that's one thing that you can always depend on from Nolan. So, I mean, overall, I'm very excited for it. I can't wait to see it. If we get more information about this topic that's not too spoilery, I will definitely update you guys on here. The next trailer we have to talk about today is for Ridley Scott's upcoming version of the Ten Commandments called Exodus, Gods and Kings. Now, as I talked about when the first trailer was released, this movie is going much larger in scale than I think people really imagined. But on top of that, it looks like they're telling a more focused story than what we got in the Ten Commandments. Although there is still going to be the whole, I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, obviously, so this is just my interpretation. It looks like they're going to be focusing less on the faith aspect of it, in terms of how much influence does the storyline of God influencing Moses going to overtake the core storyline of these two brothers who grew up together. I mean, they're not blood brothers, but they were brothers, raised together, grew up as friends, and started drifting apart, but still becoming close. And then all of a sudden, there's the proverbial straw, if you will, that just breaks them apart. And you really get to see that in this new trailer. You really get to see that moment, that second where all of a sudden, boom, their relationship is now cut. They are no longer friends. They are now enemies, which we got to see a little bit in the first trailer, but you get to see more context with it in the scene, and just the heightened level of emotion and urgency that's presented in the scene. So overall, I mean, I was wowed by this trailer. And they just showed, to select press last night, they showed over 30 minutes of footage for the film. I think it was almost 40, actually. But it's been a resoundingly positive response that has come out of that screening, because you get to see the scope of the movie. You get to see it in context. You get to see full sequences play out. You really get to see a side of the characters and the character development in this movie. But more so than that, I mean, one of the biggest complaints, and I even addressed this on Twitter, one of the biggest complaints about this movie so far has been the so-called whitewashing of the actors and just casting white actors. And the one thing that I have to say is this. Again, I was not a part of the production, so I cannot speak on the casting director's behalf or Ridley Scott's behalf about which, people they wanted to choose. But just looking at the performances that we're going to be getting from Joel Edgerton, from Christian Bale, from Ben Kingsley, they chose the best actors. And I've said that before. They chose the best people for the roles. They did not limit themselves to have to abide by an ethnicity. It's the same argument that I have with employment. When you look at employment, if you are hiring somebody because you need to have 12% of this race included in your employment, well, that to me is absolute garbage, because you need to pick the best person available, or the best person possible for that role, or that job position. If it happens to be a person of a different ethnicity other than white, then so be. I mean, that's absolutely fine. It's whoever is the most capable of performing this task, of doing this job, of playing this role. If they get the right actor, and let's just say that, they had done a casting call for Moses, and it turns out that out of every actor they had, if Idris Elba had have been the absolute knockout performance in all the auditions, I would not have been opposed to them casting him, because at the end of the day, it's whoever is the absolute best actor for that role. I mean, look at a movie like O. O is a modern reinterpretation of the William Shakespeare movie story, Othello. Not O. What one was I thinking of? There's one where they switched the race, and it was critically critically praised. Everyone loved it, and they had no problem with that. But yet, when it comes to stuff like this, it's like, oh, they're whitewashing. It's only when you see white actors getting this, and I find it's kind of the reverse racism going on right now. But still, I mean, at the end of the day, it's whoever is best for the role. Period. Man, woman, white, black, Latino. It does not matter. It does not matter. Whoever is the best for the role should be the one to get that role. And you can, and I even said, want proof? Look at Edgerton. Look at him in this trailer. He is magnifying. Like, it is absolutely clear that he was by far the best choice to play Ramses. And I just don't get, I mean, I understand that there are certain roles out there that are made for, like Pocahontas. Look at Pocahontas. Just came out, Lone Ranger. They gave Johnny Depp the role to the most known Native American character in pop culture, in the text. That I had a problem with. There was no reason for Johnny Depp to be in there, because clearly he was not the best actor for the role, because that movie was just a big steaming pile. But more so than that, it didn't make any sense. It made no sense whatsoever to have Johnny Depp play that role. There was nothing about it. He wasn't very good in the role. That one I understand. In the upcoming Peter Pan movie directed by Joe Wright, they cast Rooney Mara as Tiger Lily, another very prominent Native American character, and they cast Rooney Mara. That one, we'll have to wait to see the finished product, because at the end of the day, she may have very well been the absolute best actress that they screen tested. And if that's the case, you got the best person to play that role. So why does it matter? I don't understand it. If you're going to watch a film for entertainment, why does it matter what race the person is? If you were to go and watch a movie filled entirely with Latino people, would that change your opinion of the movie if it was Latino or all white or all black or mix of anything? No, because at the end of the day, it's whatever the story matters. Whatever happens throughout the story, the character development, all that kind of stuff matters. And the actors are there to bring that to life. If that means you have to cast a certain ethnicity, if they're the right person, if they're the right actor, if they're the right level of talent, absolutely, then cast them. But don't pigeonhole them because it's, oh, you know, we have a movie being told about ancient Egypt, and so we're going to need all Egyptian cast. Well, no. That to me does not make any sense whatsoever. You pick the right person for the role and go on with your product. That's it. I mean, I don't get it. I've gone on too long about this, so I'll stop. But to me, it's a futile thing to make, a point to make, because people are going to be upset about this movie or not go see this movie or try to boycott it simply for a reason that makes no sense. So anyway, the movie looks phenomenal. Along with Interstellar and with Exodus, there's a link in the description below to go and watch the trailer if you guys have not checked it out. So definitely go and check it out. But if we do get more information about Exodus before its release on December 5th, then I will definitely update you guys on here. We now have our first good look at Taken 3. And if you guys, again, follow me on Twitter, you will know that after I watched the trailer, I sent out a tweet and I went, damn, this movie actually looks kind of cool. It's got elements in it that look fun. And that's all we can expect from a franchise like this. Taken has never, ironically enough, Taken has never taken itself too seriously. I did not, never mind. It's just a fun franchise. The second one was, it had its fun moments. The grenade sequence, no, do not do that again. That made no sense. That took me out of the film. That was one of the things that I really dislike about it and made me not really like the film for a while. And then I rewatched it again not too long ago, and you know, it's got its merits. It's got its points that are okay, but for the most part, it can be kind of forgettable. But looking at what they're trying to tell with the third film, you know, this to me is almost like the standard spy movie that you would get. You know, the amazing assassin, you know, no one can touch him really, and he goes on the run. The government agencies try to go after him because that's the storyline of the third one. He gets framed for murder, and he has everybody from the FBI to the NSA to the CIA trying to track him down. And Forrest Whitaker is the federal agent who is in charge of trying to track him down. But this actually looks kind of fun. It's got some really cool looking action sequences, especially with the plane, you know, the car sweeping under the plane and taking out its front wheel. Like, it's got some imaginative looking sequences, and it looks like it could be a lot of fun. It just all depends on whether or not this will actually be the final film. And also on top of that, I mean, they should have figured out a way to call this something else and still have it relate to the Taken franchise, like a way for people to know that this is a continuation of the Taken franchise. Because no one gets taken in this. I mean, unless his, you know, civil rights get taken, or his freedom gets taken, but no one actually gets taken. He doesn't have to go and rescue anybody. He has to try to save his daughter or protect his daughter again. But no, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. I gotta admit. Again, go and check out the trailer. It's in the link is in the description below. So definitely check it out if you guys haven't seen it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section, because I really want to know everybody's opinion on all these movies and what they look like and whether or not you're interested in them. I know for a fact not a lot of people are really going to be that interested in Taken 3. But then when the movie opens in January, it's going to have a nice opening weekend. But after that, it's just going to drop down. But still, I mean, when you get a movie like this, which looks like, again, every other spy movie that has that feature, that has that turmoil where the government is coming after them, well, we kind of already have an established franchise here. We have the first two movies that almost serve as a prequel of sorts, or two prequels to this story, that we're used to seeing this story, but not play out with this character and this way that we've seen. So there is something new to be taken away from this, in that we know the character better. Take that from what you will. If you know the Taken franchise, there's not a lot of character development, but still, I mean, we've come to know and love Liam Neeson's character of Brian Mills enough that we can trust him. I just hope that his friends get a little bit more screen time. I hope they actually get to help out in this movie, because Leland Orser is listed as one of the higher up cast members, which means that his screen time should be considerably larger if he's being mentioned in that light. But anyway, like I said, the link for the trailer is in the description below. The movie's going to open up on January 9th of 2015. So if we get more information about this topic before the movie comes out, I will definitely update you guys on here. The last trailer that we have to talk about today is for Paul Thomas Anderson's upcoming film Inherent Vice. And I gotta tell you, this looks like it's a change of pace for Paul Thomas Anderson, at least recently. His recent stretch of movies have been very serious. I mean, The Master had a few laughs here and there, but for the most part, it was very, very heavy drama. And this looks like a great change of pace because it looks funny, it looks lighthearted, it looks witty, offbeat, goofy. I mean, just looking at Joaquin Phoenix's appearance alone is enough for me to get a ticket for this film, because he just looks so... He looks like a nom vet who is homeless. Like he has the Tom Cruise appearance from Born on the 4th of July, just not as raggedy. He's got like the longer hair. He's got the giant mutton chops. He's got the massive sunglasses. He's got the green, what looks to be like an army coat. But he looks like he's definitely experimenting with psychedelic drugs. But the scene where he's walking up to the police station and the cop just goes out of his way to nudge him and knocks him over, like sends him flying. I thought that was kind of funny. But just his level of acting in this movie, him and Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin looks to have a really standout performance in this movie as well. Especially when you look at that scene of him in I think it was the Asian diner, where he just keeps repeating everything over and over and over again in, I don't know what language it was. It was some sort of Asian language, but still, to me, it was really funny. It came across as very natural. But more importantly, and this is going to lead into my next topic that I have next, but it cemented the idea that Joaquin Phoenix could potentially be a really good Doctor Strange. Because not for a while have I seen Joaquin Phoenix appear to be in a role like this. He always seems to be playing the darker characters. And again, this is just from a trailer that is edited to make it seem as though it's a lot more lighthearted. The full movie may be a little bit darker, but everything that I saw from him in this trailer gives me hope if he ends up signing on to play Doctor Strange, that he could actually do a really good job. Because up until now, I haven't really been sold on him. He's actually been one of my lower choices out of all the names that have come out. So it's interesting to see whether or not the positive word of mouth from this movie could get him to sign on. But when I talk about it in my next topic, you'll get a little bit more information about what's going on with that. But Paul Thomas Anderson has not made a bad film, in my opinion. He's very much like Christopher Nolan, just on a much smaller scale, because his movies are not big. I mean, you go from Boogie Nights to Magnolia to Punch Drunk Love to, There Will Be Blood to The Master. I mean, he's got this just amazing filmography out there. The dude knows how to tell a story, but he also knows how to make the movie his own while not making it flashy. He doesn't overproduce the films. And so there's a great quality to just watching all of his movies. And I've been captivated ever since Boogie Nights. I mean, that movie was just astonishing. And Punch Drunk Love is one of Adam Sandler's absolute best films, by and large. I mean, if you guys have not checked out Punch Drunk Love, check it out, because it is fantastic. It's Adam Sandler, Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's just a great, great film. But anyway, Inherent Vice looks to open on December 12th in limited release. It will be expanding later on in December, most likely around Christmas or January, the beginning of January. We'll be getting it in wider release. But yeah, I'm definitely going to see how I can check this movie out before then. It is showing, as far as I know, it's showing at the New York Film Festival right now. So we may be getting some early word of mouth as to whether or not the movie's very good. I mean, it's Paul Thomas Anderson movie releasing in December. It's going to be good. So yeah, it opens up on December 12th in limited release. If we get more information about this movie before it releases, though, I will definitely update you guys on here. So the infamous Billy the Kid, who used to write for Ain't It Cool News, now runs his own site called thisisinfamous.com. And he released a major tidbit this morning. Now, I don't believe that it is true, but I'm going to go over it anyway because there's a lot of signs in here that do point that it could be true, although I don't think that it is. But anyway, I thought it was worth mentioning, so I'm going to talk about it. So he sent out a story, I believe it was either last night or early this morning. I think it was early this morning, that Ethan Hawke is now Marvel's frontrunner to play Doctor Strange. And I tweeted it. I said, no, I don't believe that. I have some sources who have assured me that Joaquin Phoenix has landed the role. Marvel just has not announced it yet, but he has landed the role. He has it. But here's why this could be true. Number one, Ethan Hawke has worked with Scott Derrickson before. They worked together on Sinister. Scott Derrickson is the director of Doctor Strange. So they already have a working relationship. Two, we already know that Doctor Strange is not going to have an origin story anymore. They've already come out and officially said that this is, like Kevin Feige stated a while ago, he said this is a classic origin story. Well, then they got John Spates in to do a page one rewrite. So this movie is no longer going to be an origin story. He's going to be an already established Sorcerer Supreme within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've already hinted that S.H.I.E.L.D. has had an eye on him for a while in Captain America 2 because you heard the name Stephen Strange. Three, because they're not doing an origin story, he's the right age. Oh, I already said that. Never mind. But three, he's more willing to sign on to a multi-picture deal. That, as far as I'm aware, that has been the major stepping point right now for Joaquin Phoenix signing on, because he is not the type of person to sign on a multi-film deal. Also, he's not very comfortable with signing on to a film when he doesn't have a script yet. Not for just Doctor Strange 1, for Doctor Strange 2, 3, Avengers 3, or 4, or whenever he's going to show up in a team-up movie. And on top of that, he doesn't have Joaquin Phoenix himself does not have a lot of experience working in front of green screens. And so I know that he's worried about that in a sense that he doesn't know if he's going to feel comfortable doing it. He's not going to know if he's going to like it. I mean, at the end of the day, Joaquin Phoenix is the type of guy who will not necessarily do a project for the money. So Marvel could really dangle all the money they want to in front of him, and that's probably not going to change his opinion, or his decision at least. That being said, I do think that he could potentially make a really cool Doctor Strange. I actually do kind of like him better for the role than I like Joaquin Phoenix. Again, looking at what Joaquin Phoenix did just in the trailer alone for Inherent Vice, he's warming up on me. I am starting to like him, and there was I'll see if I can find it, and I'll post it on my Twitter page. But there was a fan art going around that someone had done of Joaquin Phoenix as the Sorcerer Supreme. There was a close-up. You saw him with the goatee, and he had the collar was up, and all that kind of stuff. It actually looked really cool. And that was one of the first things that I said, okay, I'm starting to see it. But then when I saw his level of acting, and the reason that I say that is because his acting that we got to see, the character that he's playing in Inherent Vice, is so different than anything that we've seen before. That means that, okay, this dude will have the ability to lock right in on the character of Stephen Strange, and he could portray it the way that it was shown in the comics. At least, a modern interpretation of that character. But still, up until this point, I've always seen him as, the quiet, reserved, who will, outlandishly yell for specific reasons, whatever the script calls for, whatever the character calls for. But I've never seen him really being the type of character that would work for a Doctor Strange, like an action star. I can't see him being like that. But after seeing what he was able to do in that trailer, I'm starting to lean on it. Like, I'm starting to get behind it a little bit. We're more than likely going to be getting an announcement about who's going to be in the film within the next couple of weeks, because we got New York Comic-Con coming up. And there's been a lot of speculation that Marvel's going to drop a lot of announcements there. First will be most likely the Avengers Age of Ultron trailer, the casting announcement for Doctor Strange, and what was the other one? There were three of them. The title for Captain America 3. That was the third one. They're thinking that all three of those are going to be unveiled at New York Comic-Con, which is very likely. because Marvel is trying to spread things out a little bit. They are trying to make it so that not everything is at San Diego Comic-Con. Things are throughout the year. They may even have a presence at D23. We still don't know. I mean, Disney is going to probably use D23 for Star Wars. So whether or not they're going to use it for Marvel as well, we don't know. Marvel, I could see them actually coming out with their own day. You know, sometime in March or April. I want Star Wars to do May the 4th. It's already the unofficial Star Wars day. But I want them to do that. I want like a major announcement to be on May the 4th, because we got one this year. We got the cast on May, actually like 3 days before then, we got the cast. So I thought that was kind of cool. So maybe next year we'll get like the first trailer will be on May the 4th, because I mean that's more than 6 months away. I don't think we need a trailer before then, and Disney knows that. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. The movie is still slated for a July 8th, 2016. Marvel has not officially come out and stated that, but there was a report going around about a week ago that stated, no, it is 100%, it's the July 8th, 2016. That makes sense. The filming is going to be starting sometime in May of 2015, which leads to a July 2016 release date. They're not going to push that to the November release in 2016. So, I mean, no, it's going to be the July 8th, 2016. They've already got the director and the writer. They're locking down the cast right now. It's going to be July 8th, 2016. I don't know why Marvel just doesn't come out and announce it. You know, I mean, they're going to use their announcement for this to bury something else as well. So, I mean, I just wish they would come out and announce it. But within the next couple of weeks, we're probably going to have the Avengers trailer. As I said, I'm expecting it sometime in the middle of October, between the 15th and the 20th. That's when I'm expecting the Avengers trailer to drop online, although I wouldn't be surprised if it was a week later. But it will be online a considerably long amount of time before it shows in theaters with Interstellar. I'm almost proof positive on that. But then we're also going to be getting the title announcement for Captain America 3. A lot of people are thinking that it's going to be The Fallen Son. I would be okay with that. There was one, what was the storyline going around, or the title going around a couple of weeks ago? Oh, because that one sounded really cool. Because it talks about Cap's other Avengers team, like his side Avengers team, which is the theory that that's how the Avengers 2 is going to end, that Cap is going to break off and create his own team because he doesn't like how things are being handled. Again, that's just a rumor. That's not been confirmed at all. But yeah, I mean, when we get all these announcements and everything, I'm definitely going to talk about them on here, because my favorite franchise going on right now is Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I don't know anybody out there who you could try to argue that with, just because it's got so many films in it that are always consistently good. But anyway, next year we're going to see the continuation of a lot of franchise films, and I know that last week I said that I would be doing a 2015 roundup, but that'll be sometime next week. I will definitely get to that next week. I have not had the time to be able to do that episode yet with everything that's been coming out, especially today. Like, the amount of information I had to skip over to just fit in this episode is beyond me. So definitely check back on Friday's episode for the continuation of everything that came out today, like the Horrible Bosses 2 trailer that came out. And there's a couple of other things as well. So definitely check back on Friday's episode for that. But also, if you guys have a topic or a question about any film at all or anything of that sort that you would like to talk about on the show, then you can go ahead and put a comment in the comment section, or you can email me at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com, and it'll be answered on every Friday episode. But if we get more information about Ethan Hawke signing up for Doctor Strange, because apparently, according to the report that Billy wrote about, he was signed as of Friday. The offer was out on Friday and he signed this morning. One of those things. But apparently, according to him, he signed. I don't know how confident I am, because after that report came out, I got a lot of sources coming out and saying, nope, he may have read for the role earlier, but it's Joaquin Phoenix who has it. So as it stands right now, I'm pretty sure that Joaquin is the one who's got the role. But if Ethan Hawke came out and they said that he was going to be Doctor Strange, I would not be opposed to it. I think that's actually an inspired choice, to be completely honest. He's more willing to sign on to a multi-picture deal. He's going to be a lot easier to handle on set, because Joaquin Phoenix could be kind of a loose cannon. So there's a lot of positives to going with Ethan Hawke. I just feel now that Joaquin Phoenix is going to be Doctor Strange. But we're going to get more information about this eventually, and when we do, I will definitely update you guys on here. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Go ahead and click the subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And you can also give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. Like I said earlier, if you guys have a topic or a question that you'd like to have discussed on the show about any film in general, go ahead and put it in the comments section, or you can email me at movienewswithnicholson@gmail.com, and it'll be answered on every Friday episode. And until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.